The NCAA tournament has been live. First games have already completed, and I want to talk about why I don't think Gonzaga is going to win a national championship. All that coming up in just a minute. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Jay here with Unfair Sports, where we take a pensive approach to the sports conversation. I want to talk about Gonzaga and why I do not believe in them winning the national championship, mainly because of the landscape of the tournament and a few other things right here. Gonzaga probably won't win the national championship, and it's all because the odds are not in their favor. Actual odds. Now, Vegas has them as the number one. I think the latest installment shows them at like a plus 185 to win the national championship. So they are, quote unquote, the favorite to win, as the next team in line is at like plus 550. Meaning if you bet $1, you get $1.85, or if you bet $100, you get $185 in wins by picking Gonzaga. Don't do it. It's not worth it. If you can take the field, take the field. My buddy did this bet with some of his friends where he gave them the field, and he took Gonzaga, and I'm telling you, it's not worth it. And this is the reason why. This is why I cannot bet on Gonzaga to win the national championship. So we have not had an undefeated regular season through the tournament champion since '76. That was the Indiana Hoosiers, Bobby Knight squad. Team was stacked, too. And before them was the John Wooden dynasties. I mean, that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar era, all of that. So, yeah, we knew that they were monstrous. I think he won 9 titles in 10 years. So that's why John Wooden is the GOAT, because 9 titles in 10 years. Bananas. But Indiana's the last team that we've seen since '76 to actually win the national championship and go undefeated. Besides that, we've seen some teams go undefeated during the season, but they always lose. Kentucky, when they had Karl-Anthony Towns and Devin Booker, they did not win the national championship. Larry Johnson and UNLV back in '91, they went undefeated. Wichita State in '14, when they had Fred VanVleet and Ron Baker, they went undefeated in the season and did not win it. And, of course, 2015 was the Kentucky team with Karl-Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, Willie Cauley-Stein. They couldn't do it either. And so, but that Indiana team had something that I don't believe that this Gonzaga teams has to win through it. Now, a lot of our blue bloods are not in the tournament, really. I mean, Duke didn't make it. UNC's out. Michigan State got knocked out in a play-in game. I don't know what Kansas is going to look like. I haven't really followed them much. Kentucky didn't make the tournament. Indiana didn't make the tournament. You know what I'm saying? A lot of your blue bloods that you would expect to be in there to really be competitive aren't there. So now we have a whole bunch of randoms. In theory, we would consider them randoms. But you have, this is the reason why Indiana won that national championship, though, and why in '76 they went undefeated. They had 4 guys that got drafted in the first round of the draft within a 2-year span. The year they won the national championship, that NBA draft, they had 3 guys get drafted in the first round. The number 2 pick was Scott May. The number 7 pick was Quinn Buckner. And number 11 was Bob Wilkerson. That was in the first round of the NBA draft. Now, the NBA draft back then did have a lot of rounds. I think they had like 7 rounds, but these are all first-round draft picks. The only reason why they didn't get the number 1 pick for Scott May, because the number 1 pick that year was John Lucas, Sr., out of Maryland. He was a monster on the court. Houston drafted him. Why he's still in Houston, still helping folks. He's a Houston guy. So they had some monsters, and then the next year, one more player, Kent Benson, he ended up going number 1 in the next year's draft after they won the national championship and going undefeated. So they had 4 guys go drafted in the first round. I don't see the same thing coming out of Gonzaga. I don't see them having that many great players. Here's my take on this. Now, this was what made it a little weird, is that Scott May was number 2 and John Lucas was number 1, but John Lucas was considered the best basketball player in the country at the time. That's the thing that I need Gonzaga to have for me to really buy into them. I'm not saying they're not. There's zero possibility for them to win a national championship. I'm just saying I can't bet on them to win it because the odds are not in their favor. Typically, if you're going to win a national championship and be undefeated, you're going to need to have at least a number 1 draft pick, like the number 1 pick in the draft in some capacity over the next year or two. Jalen Suggs is their best player, hands down. He's probably the 3rd best pick. He's probably the 3rd best player in the country. Right now, the unanimous number 1 pick is Cade Cunningham. I would give Jalen Suggs a pass on Cade Cunningham looking like the number 1 draft pick and say that Suggs, it makes sense if Cade was 7 feet tall. Cade is not 7 feet tall. 7-footers typically drafted number 1 because they're 7 feet tall. That's not something you can teach. You cannot teach height. But because of his skill set, Cade is considered the best player in the country. Because of that, I cannot bet on Gonzaga to win it all. Can they? Possibly. Can I bet on them? No. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Gonzaga goes out there and does some things, but I don't see them being the next 76 Indiana Hoosiers.